What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna tell you guys right now how not to burn out in anything that you do. I've been an entrepreneur for about going on 8 years now. I remember early on when things were going, I was always in this constant state of stress. Like I was constantly stressed, I was constantly struggling, at least mentally, right? Always trying to figure out what to do next, how to do this, how to do that. It was exhausting. Even though it was exhausting at the beginning, like the first couple of years, you kind of just keep pushing through, right? Because you're kind of like, I got no other option. Like, what else am I gonna do? I gotta push through if I want to live a different life, if I want to make some more money. You kind of just keep doing that. You keep doing that over and over and over again. But eventually, if you don't give up, if you don't quit, you get to a point where you actually start making some money. When that starts happening, there's usually these moments where you get excited. You're like, oh my God, I just made my first $5,000. I made $10,000 this week. I made $40,000 this month, or whatever the case is, right? Like, it's not about the number, but when you start hitting those specific numbers that are exponential for yourself, right? And they're numbers that you've never hit before, and it's about to change your life, right? It's about to change your family. It's about to change everything you do in any way that you do it. It might even make your life easier. When all that is happening, as we continue growing and we keep developing and we keep expanding the business, getting more clients, the one thing you don't realize is what's gonna come next. So what ends up coming next, which happens in every single business, shit starts hitting the fan, right? There's gonna be days that are just gonna be very, very difficult and everything is going wrong. I'm sure you guys have all had those days, right? You've probably had those days in your personal life, right? With your family, with your friends, with your kids, or whatever the case may be, but it happens in business as well, right? Think about that same logic. And I'm telling you guys this because I want you to expect it if you've never experienced it. And if you have experienced it, then you can relate 100%. And if you have, like, let me know down in the comments below, because I think it would absolutely help anybody who's watching this. Going back to that place of like constantly winning. There's those days also that even after you've been winning, you get the hard days, you get the bad days, right? And when I say hard and bad, I'm talking about everything that can go wrong starts going wrong. People are quitting, you're getting no clients, you're not closing enough deals, the deals that you do have end up falling short, or there's an extra expense, you're getting a lawsuit, or you got to spend more money because the ads aren't working, or hire new creatives if you're running ads, find a new marketing channel. Like, there's always something because you're not getting enough leads, you're not closing enough, the marketing's not on point, fulfillment got worse. When all that is happening, the only people who experience this the most or carry the biggest weight at the end of the day is the owner. If an employee really cares, they'll experience it as well. If the manager really cares, they'll experience it really well. But that usually will only happen if you've created a good relationship with your employees, created a culture of like, hey, the employee has your back, the manager has your back, you have their back. Although they might still do that to a certain degree in their department, everything else that's happening in every single department, there's only one person that bears the weight on all that, and that's usually the owner. It's crazy to see that, just like in life, right? When one thing can go wrong, everything starts going bad. The same thing happens in business. When these moments come, like, there isn't really anybody to cheer us on, right? The only person that's gonna push us and have us try and figure out a different way is ourselves, nobody else. Those moments are gonna come, and they're gonna happen probably more often than you think, and we get to learn to come from a place of surrender, right? That this is what it is, and you just get to solve the next problem and figure it out, figure out the next thing, and figure out the next thing, and figure out the next thing. What I've realized though with all this is that you can absolutely burn yourself out on how you approach these days. You can absolutely burn yourself out. Even the days where everything's not going bad, but there's a few things happening, you can still burn yourself out, right? Because what it ends up coming down to is how grounded you are, right? And for me, what I've realized, it's not just being grounded, but it's being spiritually grounded, that there is nothing or nobody or anything that can happen that will deter you or push you away from your goals, regardless of what happens. Like, the business can go down the next day, you lose all your money, all your cash, everybody quits, everybody's suing you, all this happens, and at the end of the day, you're like, I'll figure it out, I'll do it again, I've done it before. That's all there is to it. If you can find a way to get to this place, and I believe you can't get to this place unless you have some type of spiritual foundation. Like, there has to be something that is grounding you enough to be fearless, honestly. Like, it's this level of fearlessness that's even a bit of delusion, to the point where, like, just think there's nothing that can go wrong. Because imagine if you're constantly stressed about something. The average person goes through this financially. Like, most people are barely getting by financially, and they're in a constant state of stress and fight or flight. Am I gonna have enough money for rent? Am I gonna have enough money for food? Hey, I can't go out with you guys today because I barely covered rent today. And you want to buy gifts for people, but you can't because you don't have enough money. Like, there's always a money conversation happening, and usually what people end up doing is they get into debt. You get into debt, you get into more debt, and it's just this cycle, this vicious cycle that never ends. Imagine if you never had to live through that, right? I'm not saying that's gonna all of a sudden give you an abundance of money. It could. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know if since you've never experienced that, what that would look like. But imagine if you can live your day every single day without having to stress about what's happening in your life financially, personally, or even in the business. Those days I think are the most important days for any entrepreneur, and honestly even any person in this world, because I really believe all these diseases that exist out in the world and these different sicknesses that we have, that we experience, even when we just get sick, like, oh, I got the flu, that's all coming from stress. That's all coming from the thoughts that you tell yourself, from all these different things. And again, it's just a vicious cycle. Who wants to live that vicious cycle? I don't want to live that vicious cycle. I can happily say today that, look, I still get stressed sometimes. Like, I'm not perfect. I think it happens. I don't think there's anybody that cannot not get stressed, or maybe not. Maybe I don't even know that yet, right? But my stress levels and the way I perceive the things that are thrown at me, I've gotten to a point where I can handle them significantly better. There's still way more work for me to do to get to that point where like just nothing moves me. The reason why I'm sharing this is because being in the place that I'm at today, like there is almost nothing that you can throw at me that will have me bat an eye. And it's such a peaceful place. And that's what I want you guys to pick up on, is that it's such a peaceful place to be there. Because when you're in that position, when you're in that environment mentally, you will become abundantly, infinitely, limitlessly creative. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people who have gotten to high levels in what they're trying to create are able to consistently say in. It's creativity at the end of the day. Business is creativity. The arts is creativity. Music is creativity. Everything is creativity. But if you're in a constant state of stress, like you cannot tap into that. You cannot tap into that unlimited power. Just know that when you're going through those moments, that means there's still more work to be done. At the same time, if you're starting a business, you're going to have those stressful days. Like you better know right now, if you've never made a lot of money, that that's going to become a norm. And so you might as well start getting used to it now. You might as well start expecting that's going to happen. And better yet, do the internal work to get you to a place that when that does happen, it doesn't shake you. You just continue on the path. You continue doing the things you got to do. And eventually it would all play out together. I remember when I first started, like I used to be like, man, nobody sees me. Nobody gets what I'm doing. And like, everybody's like working their job, making their money, and like I'm over here stressing about everything. But at the end of the day, I might be bearing all that weight as an entrepreneur when all the bad days that happen, but who also benefits at the end of the day? Where at the end of the day, when everything's hitting, wires are hitting, transactions are hitting, clients are happy, new partnerships, all that, who benefits the most? And so we get to remember that, right? Where can we look at that in our lives as well with our family? You benefit the most when your family is happy, when you're there for them, when you're present for them, when you're able to provide all those things for them. Yes, they benefit from that, and yes, they're happy, but nothing matches, in my experience, when the people that you love around you are happy and excited and living their life to their full potential. That makes me happy. Like that gives me so much peace. And I believe through the peace is where I get happiness. And so that is all I got for today. I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.